Captain Sparks and Flight of the Prodigal. Episode 2. Redlined. There are two kinds of cargo in this galaxy. The kind you declare, and the kind that keeps people breathing. We were hauling the second kind. 40 doses of Renewal in a cold case the size of a footlocker, black market, unkeyed, worth more than my ship. The broker who hired us never gave a name, paid half up front in hard script, and said only that their regular runners had gone quiet 2 weeks back and the cargo could not wait. I should have asked why the runners went quiet. File that under Things I Learned the Hard Way. Here is what redlined means, for those of you lucky enough not to know. When a colony's charter lapses, or the ore runs out, or the tithes stop clearing, a clerk in some consortium tower draws a red line through its registry entry. That is all. One line. No lanes, no manifests, no medical shipments. Nobody executes anybody. The colony just falls off the books, and the renewal stops coming. And then everyone left dies right on schedule, one 25-year window at a time. It is the politest massacre ever invented. The paperwork does the shooting. Carthen's ledge got its red line 9 years ago when the ore played out. 1,100 souls still on the rock. To reach them, we had to thread a patrol corridor the Consortium keeps hot for exactly this reason, which is why Rook, my pilot, the best set of wings in the sector and the mouthiest, was grinning like it was his birthday. Captain, there's a 19-second gap in their sweep, and Vess says I only get 11 of them. Vess is being generous, said Vess, my tactician and the coldest red in the room, not looking up from the patrol lattice. I had run the timing myself while they argued, and gotten 9. I kept that to myself and said, Gut says take it low. The gut gets the credit. The math does the work. Rook took us in low. The patrol's scan brushed our hull like a hand in a dark room and held there, one heartbeat that lasted a year. Then it slid off. Rook exhaled a whole language of Scaran profanity. 10, my engineer and the ship's brain, a synthetic the Consortium ordered scrapped, and I ordered hired, announced that our odds on the exit run were materially improved but still insulting. We put down in a quarry pit under camo net, and Carthen's ledge came out to meet us. I have seen poor. I grew up in New Chicago. Poor is a first language for me. This was something else. This was a whole town living on a countdown. They kept a wall in the meeting hall, slate and chalk, every name in the colony with a date beside it. Window opens, window closes. Some dates had chalk lines through them, and I did not ask what kind of line. A kid, maybe 8, tugged the sleeve of Braca, my ship's medic and mother hen, all 300 kilos of her, and asked if she was a doctor. Better, Braca said. I am a medic. The kid asked what the difference was. Doctors have offices. Medics come to you. The forger was waiting at the back of the hall. Cassia Den, 60 maybe, hands steady the way only 2 kinds of hands are steady, surgeons and safecrackers, and she was some of both. Renewal will not take unless it is biometrically keyed to the body it goes into, keyed by the registry if you are rich, keyed by somebody like Den if you are Carthen. Braca carried the case in from the hold herself and would not let anyone else touch it. And when Den reached out for it, Braca held on. A beat too long enough that Den glanced up at her face, and something passed between the medic and the forger that neither of them spent words on. Then Braca let go. Write that down as the second thing I got wrong, because I told myself it was nothing. Watching Den work was an education I pretended not to receive. Her keying rig was scrap on the outside, but the architecture underneath was elegant. Layered seed authentication, one-time codes cascading down a chain from somewhere upstream, built so that catching any one forger could never burn the rest. Craftsmanship. I looked at it the way a flyboy looks at fancy soldering and kept my mouth shut. 30 doses in, the rig hiccuped. Den's jaw tightened. She tried again. The seed request went upstream and nothing came back down. "Chain's dark again," she said, mostly to herself. "Scaled codes then." She rerouted, coaxed, improvised for the better part of an hour and keyed 8 more off-codes she had hoarded like a woman who saw winter coming. The last 2 doses would not take. No seed, no key. No key, no dose. Den stood there with 2 dead vials in her hands, and then she walked to the slate wall and looked at it a long time. She did not cross anything out. She just stood there, memorizing 2 names, and I understood that the chalk lines were not for the dead. They were for the scheduled. "Your supply chain," I said. "How long has it been failing like this?" 2 weeks, Den said. 2 weeks, all across the rim, every rig on the network coughing at once. She sat down heavy and told me the shape of it, because I asked, and because a carrier who runs patrol corridors for redlined colonies has earned the answer. Every keyman worth the name learned from one man. Every rig like mine hangs off a seed chain one man built, 20 years of it, so no registry could ever kill the whole network by catching any one of us. She turned a dead vial over in her fingers. Any one of us except him. Doran Vale. Best hands the black market ever had. 2 weeks ago, somebody served a warrant on him, and somebody collected him, and the chain has been dying by inches ever since. The hall was quiet. Braca was looking at me. I did not look back. "Word is the bounty man didn't even know what he had," Den went on. "Some guild contract. Clean paper." She said clean the way you would say a curse in church. I have been shot at by professionals on 4 dozen worlds, and I have never wanted out of a room so bad. Anyway, Den stood and put out her hand, and I took it. "You carried when nobody would. Carthen pays its debts, Captain, and so does the network. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. We remember our friends." I flew a patrol corridor on 9-count timing to deliver 40 doses and left owing more than I came with. The exit run was clean. There is that word again. I have started to hate it. That night the ship was quiet. Rook asleep with a tusk ring on his talon. Vess wherever Vess goes. Braca stood in the empty hold a long time after the case was gone, and I told myself it was nothing. I was getting good at that. I sat in the galley and did the arithmetic nobody paid me for. 40 doses, 38 keyed. 2 names on a slate wall, on 1 rock, in 1 corridor, and Vale's chain hangs over every redlined colony in the rim. Multiply 2 by every rig coughing in the dark, and the number you get is the body count of a single clean delivery. Still counting. The warrant checked out. I ran it 4 times. I keep saying that like it helps. My grandfather used to say, "A debt you do not know you owe still collects interest." I did not know yet what I owed, or to whom, but somewhere out past the red lines, interest was collecting.